Morning, everybody.
Morning.
I'm Muriel Bowser. I am the mayor of Washington, D.C., and I am so happy today to be joined by a number of people who have been fighting the good fight to protect our earth, and they stand with me and the 681,000 residents of Washington, D.C., who affirm our commitment to the goals of the Paris agreements. I will talk a little bit more about what the city and our focus has been, not just this year, not just last year, but over a number of years, to make sure cities like ours are leaders around the world in fighting climate change. Let me acknowledge Senator Paul Strauss, our senator for the district, Senator Michael Brown, as well as Director Tommy Wells, who leads the district's Department of Energy and the Environment. Our partners today include Reverend Lennox Yearwood, who is the president and CEO of the Hip Hop Caucus, Jim Foster, who is with the Anacostia Watershed Society, Irma Esperanza Diggs, who is with the National League of Cities, and Kate Zyla, who works for the DOEE and focuses on climate change for the District of Columbia. Let me also acknowledge our directors, Greer Gillis and Eugene Kinlow, and the city administrator for the District of Columbia, Rashad Young. So I don't have to tell you that D.C. is truly a world-class city. And I have been a part of C40 cities who are mayors around the world who are focused on the environment. And as the nation's capital, we are proud to lead the way in so many ways when it comes to protecting and preserving the environment. That's why we are continuing our work with cities and countries around the globe to meet the goals of the Paris Climate Accord. The effects of climate change are already here, and without proper planning and collaboration, they will continue to get worse. Here in D.C., we're committed to building a safer and stronger and more sustainable community, and we mean to focus on all aspects of how we do business and in all communities across the city. We launched last year the Climate Ready D.C. Plan. It is the city's strategic plan to adapt to a changing climate. We entered into one of the largest municipal on-site solar projects in the country. We introduced legislation that makes D.C. the first city in the nation and only the second city in the world to establish a green bank, which will be a tool for us that will help create green jobs, expand solar power, lower energy costs, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We completed the largest wind power purchase agreement deal of its kind ever. And today I'm signing a mayoral order that affirms the district's support for the Paris Climate Accord. This order renews our commitment to the historic agreement to reduce climate emissions. Over the last week, 175 mayors representing 51 million Americans have committed to adopt, uphold, and honor the Paris Agreement's goals. And I also would like to acknowledge Stephanie Mash Sykes, who is with the African American Mayors Association, of which I am a member, along with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And with C40 cities, we have all of our associations have been focused on the mayors who are on the ground, who are making the purchases, who are making decisions and regulations and policies that affect the built environment and how people use our cities. We know that these mayors are both Democrats and Republicans. They're from small cities and large cities and everything in between. And we are confident that we will, no matter what the decisions are at the federal level, continue to form the policies that will help to protect our earth. And so I think that we're going to move forward to sign the mayor's order in just a second, and then we'll take some of your questions. Let me just give you a few facts before we do that. Washington, D.C. has long been committed to the goal of reducing carbon emissions by 50% by 2032 and by 80% by 2050 from 2006 levels established in the Sustainable DC Plan. We are committed to increasing renewable energy and reducing energy consumption as envisioned by our Clean Energy DC Plan, and for preparing for the effects of climate change with our Climate Ready DC Plan. So over the past 2 years, we have been focused not only on making sure that we have the planning in place, the staffing commitments, and the ability to work across all agencies. And that's why you will hear and see people from our Department of the Energy and the Environment, from our Department of General Services that handles the city's construction, but you will also have us focused on health and the effects of health. And you'll hear us talking about procurement and our procurement policies as well. So these are the things that you will hear mayors who really don't have the option of ignoring the facts or ignoring science, because we're making the types of decisions every day that affect how we will protect our Earth. So with that, please join me. We'll sign the executive order.
Hey, can you go down? Okay. She's gonna sign, and after that, she's going to go to Q&A.
There it is. Thank you. So Tommy is now going to answer all the hard questions. All right, we're happy to, thank you. And I joked with our friends at Nestle Mullins who made this wonderful room available to us. Let me give them a big hand for that. And it seems that every time we plan to do something on their roof, it rains or snows or something. But you still, of course, have the beautiful sight of our Capitol. Who's first?
Mayor, could we start with you and just ask you why you feel you talked about mayors not being able to ignore science. What did you mean about that?
Well, I think you know, Mark, that we frequently get frustrated with gridlock at the federal level or lack of decisions, or in this case, pulling back from commitments. And we still have to make sure that we're investing in infrastructure, that we're investing in schools, and we're not pulling away from our commitments, that we are looking to make sure that our residents are healthy and that we're investing in the types of programs and policies that will keep them that way. And in this case, I think it was very clear for the last several months that one of the values that we were going to have to stand up and protect and defend the most was our commitment to the environment, preserving the environment, and fighting climate change. We've seen it in the budget that came from the White House, the so-called skinny budget, and Director Wells has pointed out to us all along that in his department, pulling back of the feds from certain programs that are funded is going to have to be backfilled by a local budget. So we want to stand with mayors and leaders and governors in our nation to say that we're committed to these greenhouse gas reductions and other ways to fight climate change. And by the way, that's not new. We have a sustainable DC plan, as I mentioned, that sets, I think in some cases, bolder goals. And we have a climate-ready plan and an energy-ready plan. And that's really our roadmap to protect our Earth. Yes, sir.
Mayor, what will be changing in terms of the way the district generates energy or uses energy or pays for energy as a result of this?
Well, I've already talked to you about some very critical investments we've made in the last 2 years, and Tommy and his team are always looking for more ways for us not to just do what's right for the environment, but what's right for our bottom line. And I think that is an important point to make, too. You see government saying when we practice sustainable, procurement, policies, as well as getting our climate-ready plans and energy-ready plans and actually making those purchases, we also help the city's bottom line. And I'm going to ask Tommy to talk a little bit more about what those commitments to solar and wind mean for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple of things. One is that the mayor has made it clear that we are to accelerate and implement the plans that are in front of us, and there's two major parts of them. One is to protect the city through Climate Ready DC, and the other is to mitigate greenhouse gases. So how we were changing how we deploy energy, we just signed a new contract for $20 million per year for 5 years for sustainable energy utility, whose job is to reduce the amount of greenhouse gases produced by cities' buildings. Our buildings produce are responsible for 74% of all greenhouse gases that are produced by the city. And then the other is that we are aggressively deploying solar. Right here in D.C. over the next 15 years, we will fund about $500 million worth of solar projects throughout D.C. so that we generate our own power. So we're reducing our use, we're increasing local generation, and we're continuing innovative programs like what Mayor Bowser talked about with having wind power purchase in our area, along with the other renewable energy initiatives. So that's what we're doing.
If I could just get a quick follow-up on that. Is the district already meeting the Paris goals, or is anything changing as a result of today?
Well, I think that there's two things, again, about that, is that shortly after the presidential election, that the mayor went down to Mexico City with a delegation of other mayors from the United States to reaffirm our commitment to meeting the Paris goals to the other mayors of major cities across the world. And today is part of making good on that commitment to reassure them that we will do this. So we've reduced greenhouse gases since the baseline of 2006 by about 20 to 24%, but a lot of that has been the fuel change from coal over to gas in the area. So the easy part is happening through our renewable portfolio standard of how we get our energy, and then obviously for using renewable for city buildings as well. But the hard part is in front of us, and that's to get to a full 50% reduction by 2032.
Yes, Sam.
Mr. Wells, the D.C. government obviously is doing things. What about others in D.C.? Are there other? I figure you'd be aware of this more than.
Well, we now have more Energy Star buildings than any other city or area in the country. When we first took office, we were like maybe 6 buildings below L.A., and now we've surpassed them. We've continued to surpass. So we benchmark buildings on how much energy they use, and we give them a score. And so that is one of the things that's happening in the private area. And as you may also know, is that we have more LEED buildings in this area than anywhere in the country. We also have been adding more green roofs per year for the past 3 years to cool things down, use less energy, and also to obviously retain stormwater. So our city is doing well, but we're going to have to double down, and especially now where 70% of all greenhouse gases are caused by cities in the world. 50% of the world's population live in cities. Cities are the problem, cities are the solution.
Director Wells, can you talk about, is it a bigger challenge to meet these goals if now the federal government, which owns and maintains a lot of federal buildings in the District of Columbia, are not on the same page as the local government and private buildings in the city?
Well, I'll give one specific example where this is could be a problem. The Energy Star program helps us to benchmark buildings across America, including in D.C. The president's budget proposes eliminating the Energy Star program for America, and that ranges from when you buy a refrigerator, a microwave, you get to determine, is this an energy efficient appliance? We do that with the buildings too through the Energy Star building program. So the first thing is that we will have to figure out how to replace Energy Star for benchmarking buildings should the president's budget hold of eliminating Energy Star for America. The other part is that so far GSA has been a good partner. GSA has been helping put on green roofs. They've had a number of initiatives to look at reducing their energy use. So we have to wait and see if they will, if they're going to change what they're doing. But as the mayor said, really, energy efficiency and renewable energy and doing the right thing is good for business, and it has been for the past 10 years. So we'll have to see what happens, Mark.
Yes. Mayor Bowser, is there a bottom line to the burden on taxpayers for these commitments?
Our taxpayers are committed to the sustainable practices that we are committed to in our city. I have to tell you, in all of my conversations about the environment, one of the things that people wanted to make sure that I would do, even before I was hired as mayor, is that I would commit to sustainable DC. It's been a well-vetted plan and a plan that we can work across all of our agencies. And as Tommy said, we are seeing results. I think he also said we've kind of tackled those things that are low-hanging, and we have to be equally committed as we move forward to reach our goals. What we have demonstrated, and Tommy will remind me of the wind deal, for example, that over 20 years is going to be a significant savings to the taxpayers of the District of Columbia because it affects our government buildings and how we power them. And so the more of them that can be powered from a renewable source, the better it is for our bottom line. Yes.
I know you've been focused a lot on the impact of, or the role of cities. Has the district considered joining the Climate Alliance led by New York and California and Washington State?
Well, we'll certainly learn more about it. We are a city, county, state, so we do things. You see, we're with the National League of Cities. We're part of the national, the counties, NACO, right? NACO, and we have from time to time participated with the governors' associations on different events. We're special. So we have state functions, whereas other cities don't. So we'll absolutely look to see what that alliance will bring to our residents and government. Yes.
This announcement comes on the heels of your reaffirmation of DC's status as a sanctuary city. In terms of our specialness, is there any fear of retribution from the folks that work in that building behind you and standing up for things that the president and a Republican Congress do not support?
Well, the president does not. I'm elected to make decisions on how DC government expends its resources. We are talking about the tax dollars that we collect from DC residents and businesses and committing them to well thought out plans that help our city's bottom line. We remind the Congress and the White House they do have federal matters in the district, like fixing Beach Drive, like fixing the Memorial Bridge, like paying their fair share of Metro, but these matters are our business. Thank you, everybody. Question for the people.
It's kind of an elephant in the room.
I can't, okay. Tell me who you are, the people.
My name is Nicole Whalen.
Hi, Nicole. Nice to meet you.
And we talked about how cities are the largest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, specifically buildings. Why aren't we talking about a carbon tax?
Well, I think that with our sustainable plan and the measures that Tommy with the Department of Energy and the Environment and some of the commissions that we've impaneled, they have full reign to put all issues on the table. Is there another question?
Hi, I just want to say thank you for your commitment and everything. My name is Jordan Marie Daniel. I'm the founder of Rising Hearts Coalition here in DC and a co-founder of DC Reinvest. I just want to see what the commitment will be for local initiatives like Put a Price on It DC for carbon emissions, and then also our divestment campaign, getting the city to divest from Wells Fargo, which will also keep fossil fuels in the ground, which will also eliminate global warming.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk about divestment from Wells Fargo. We don't have a position on that at this point. And what was your first question? Was that the same question I just heard?
What the commitment is over the conversation.
I think it's the same answer that I just gave this young lady. Okay.
Can we go off topic, Mayor? Is that all right? We were going to anyway.
Since we are.
Yes. What are your thoughts on the nooses that have been found around the city? Obviously, that's got to be very troubling for you and all of city government. What's being done there?
I think it's troubling for every person who denounces hate in very powerful symbols of hate. People know what nooses mean. They know what the history has been in our own nation with nooses. And what I will say, going across the entire city, across all 8 wards, talking to people, I've never seen Washingtonians more united to support their neighbors. And we reported a few weeks back that we have actually seen increases in the number of reported hate crime incidents, hateful speech, some things that don't rise to, we don't have a code against it, but we know it's wrong and we know it's hateful. So we pulled together our Office of Religious Affairs along with our Office of Human Rights. You know that we have one of the most robust human rights statutes anywhere in the nation. We're very proud of it and we enforce it. So we have called on Washingtonians because we want to find out who's doing this. We're investigating it. If you've seen something out of the norm for your neighborhood, it may help us find the people who are doing it. So just know that we take it very seriously. We're going to investigate it, and we're going to try to put a stop to whoever's doing it.
Would you attribute the rise in hate crimes or hate-filled crimes to?
Well, we've seen it over the course of many months, and I think we know it's been probably 18 months, 2 years of pretty high rhetoric and on everywhere, national media, global media. It's been bombarding people, and so we are prepared. We've prepared from a law enforcement point of view, as well as just from a human support perspective to deal with the issues in our community. Thank you.
Mayor, your reaction to what's happened in the capital of the UK over the weekend and in the last few weeks, terror attack?
Well, certainly our heart goes out to our neighbors and friends in the UK, and it's a reminder that we have to be ever vigilant about our security, and we certainly are. In times like this, people ask me frequently, well, how does this affect Washington, D.C.'s preparedness? You can just look outside this window and recognize that we have a lot of high targets in our city. We're a nation's capital. We are a symbol of democracy around the world, and we prepare that way each and every day. So there will be some things that the chief of police, in partnership with his intelligence gathering with our federal partners and other law partners, will do if the conditions or intelligence suggests that he should. Some of those things we will be able to discuss. Other things, just know that they're happening.
The big battle at the council as they finalize their budget seems to be about the streetcar. What are your hopes for the future of the streetcar?
Well, like I said, when I became mayor, there was no running streetcar. I think you know that. And we put a lot of effort and resources into getting that program in shape and getting the streetcar running. We also right-sized the program. And what I told the residents of the district at the time, there was $1 billion program on the table, several lines, and I told residents that we would focus on the existing line, getting it running, which we have, extending it east, which we will do, and extending it to the west, to a logical location. The plan that's on the books goes to Georgetown. I don't know if that's the best westernmost point. So the council will do some things in capital budgets, and we get another bite at it next year. But my commitment is to finishing that line east, where we know is going to the metro station, and west to a point where we don't know the most westernmost point, but it will go beyond Union Station.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.